D23.
Yes.
Oh, the Thunderbolts trailer.
Yes.
I'm going to say it. Source. Despite this, most people you'll speak to have never read a comic book and would never even consider picking up one. So, how do we make them more appealing, and what would it take for you to go to your local store and buy a comic? And people like, in America, Disney can legally kill your wife. From saving comic books to saving video game studios, Josh is back again with another Gaming Monthly update. Welcome back, Josh.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure it was me myself that saved them, but
What studio have you saved?
Josh is getting the credit.
breaking news. Right, the first one. In what year was the Xbox 360 released? Xbox 360 year of release.
Hello and welcome back to Cutscene Combos. It's episode 127 and
Yes.
we are absolutely throwing haymakers this week. We have got character profile on Homelander. We'll be reacting to D23, which happened last weekend. We're going to discuss how to get you to read comics, if you don't already. Josh is back with some more Gaming Monthly news and a little gaming quiz.
Yes.
And as always, we have the Nerd News Network. But before all that good stuff, Horizontal, how the devil has your week been?
My week's been pretty good. I'm trying to think what went down over the weekend. I can't even remember what I played over the weekend. Maybe a bit of Rust, I think. I think I also had jobs and stuff I needed to get done. And then I got access to Shroud's game, Spectre Divide. It's a lot of fun. We talked about it in the gaming section. And yeah, it's a lot of fun to play. I think I'm going to be unfortunately hooked on that for a little bit. And then other than that, kind of just been vibing, back in the gym finally.
Yeah.
Did my first gym session.
Horizontal season inbound.
Yeah, I've been dying to get back in the gym. So yeah, finally sorted that out. We'll probably go and have a session after recording this. So yeah, Swole's is in the works.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can stick with it. Hopefully I can get back in shape. Yeah, other than that, just been kind of chilling, playing some games, vibing, having a good week. How's your week been?
It's been good. Last weekend was my sister's birthday, and then it was Jenna's sister. It sounds weird because me and Jenna aren't married. My sister-in-law.
I know.
It was her engagement party because her and her partner recently got engaged, so that was very fun. Had a lovely time.
Nice.
Then Sunday was a weirdly productive day. Bearing in mind that we didn't come home Sunday night. We stayed at her mum's because that's where the party was. We came home, did some posters up on the wall, made some content. I was weirdly productive this weekend. With
Nice.
do you know what it is? I think it was like, oh, this engagement party starting at like 4:00. So I will have to start getting ready to have a shower and make sure my hair's dry and all that stuff at like 2. And we won't be back till like maybe midday the next day. So I've got to get all my stuff done. And as a result, I just absolutely ripped through stuff at an unprecedented rate.
Fun.
Yeah, had a good week. Week was a bit sluggish. I was struggling to get in the zone this week. Is what it is. And I'm just kind of vibing. I mean, my opinions on some things have changed. So, how long have we known each other now, Harry? 5 years?
Oh.
2019, Modern Warfare 19. So yeah. 5 years. Have you ever known me to celebrate my birthday?
Not.
Would you even know when my birthday is? And this isn't me taking a dig.
No, because you're always you refuse to tell anyone about it. So we've only about to figure it out.
Yes. So I believe the only person or only people who know my birthday are Luke and Ian,
Because they figured it out.
because they had me on Facebook before I purged it from all my social media.
Mm.
And I've actually, in the last month or so, kind of started to not dislike my birthday anymore, conceptually. So it's coming up in the not too distant future.
So you as the viewers, for Connor's present, can get us 1 million subscribers.
1 million subscribers. Yeah, it feels weird. I feel like coming up to 25 years of age, I feel like I'm starting to look back on some things, and I understand why I felt the way I felt, but I also am now like, I would like to move on from that kind of stuff.
Mm.
So we're giving it the old college try to see if I can, because I love other people's birthdays. There is nothing I love more than celebrating someone else's birthday. So I'm like, well, why can't I just do that for myself as well? So that's what we're trying out here. We'll see how that goes, though. But yeah, let's get into some content, some actual stuff. I'm not sure if it will be our last ever, but it's definitely our last for now. Boys' character profile. Our character profile this week is on the one and only Homelander.
The man himself.
As always, fair warning, as it might be a little bit more graphic than some of our normal character profiles due to the nature of the boys. John Gilman, aka the Homelander, or Homelander, first appeared in The Boys number 3, October 2006. Vought America used a homeless and profoundly disabled woman to test the effects of Compound V on an unborn fetus when they impregnated her with the sperm of Nazi soup Stormfront. This was the creation of the Homelander. When his mother passed during labour, he was then trapped in a secret underground facility for the entirety of his youth, as Vought did experiments on him to make sure they fully understood the powers he possessed before releasing him to the world as the leader of the Seven, their brand new premier superhero team. The first times things went severely wrong in Homelander's superhero career were on September 11th, 2001, when, during a hijacking of a plane over New York, the Seven attempted to stop anything bad from happening. Instead, they essentially tortured the passengers by screaming at them and bursting their eardrums with their sonic screeching, and then destroyed the plane when trying to redirect it, causing it to careen into the Brooklyn Bridge, killing thousands. This is when the boys' original lineup made themselves known and used their evidence of the Seven's mistakes during the September 11th attacks as a warning to behave themselves. And they even used this opportunity to form a bit of a truce with the Seven and took Lamplighter from the Seven because he had killed Greg Mallory's daughter and Greg Mallory wanted revenge. It was only years later Homelander would realise why during that meeting Billy Butcher was so specifically angry at him when he discovered that Butcher's wife was apparently raped by him and then died as a result of a superpowered fetus cutting its way out of her womb and killing her. Shortly after this, Homelander would occasionally black out and then would receive photos of him murdering people and doing other more disturbing things as well. This caused him to slowly lose his mind, screaming at himself in the mirror, having discussions with himself, and becoming increasingly paranoid, until eventually he snapped and organised a coup of the American government with other superheroes. This then led to Homelander and Butcher's final confrontation, where Black Noir revealed he was a Homelander clone who was responsible for Becky's rape and also the pictures Homelander had received, and that he was preparing to frame Homelander so that he could live out his designated mission since birth of killing him if he stepped out of line. This led to Homelander fighting Black Noir, who killed him and disemboweled him in the process. Homelander is the out-and-out villain of the Boys TV show.
Yes.
In the comic, it's really interesting because he's actually a bait and switch the entire time. He is the antagonist because it's the person that is treated as the villain and you look at as the villain. And then right near the end, you get this massive bait and switch of some of the horrible shit that you thought Homelander had done was actually Black Noir. And it's some of the more heinous stuff. But while we discussed it before, the Boys comic struggles in a lot of places to actually land. Conceptually, it's a really cool idea to have this person losing their mind because they feel like they're blacking out and they're doing these horrible things, and they do have disturbing thoughts which maybe makes them think I could do that, and then actually it was just someone actively like gaslighting them and making them lose their mind is a very interesting twist. Obviously we know that the coup on the government is still where the Boys is going.
Yep.
Even though that twist is out of play, I'm really curious to see where it lands instead.
Yeah, but they sort of laid the groundwork of him losing his mind with that whole when he had the mirror and it was all this different split. So they laid that in there just in a different way. But yeah.
Yeah, instead of the evilness being committed by someone else and them being gaslighting Homelander, they double down on Homelander being evil and other things slowly driving him crazy, like being so powerful but not feeling like he has any power.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Homelander. We'll be back next week with some different character profiles. Maybe comment down below who you'd like to see.
Yes.
D23.
Yes.
Oh, so let's recap
good.
some of our predictions real quick.
Yep.
Just so people can realise how amazing we are at this. We said Daredevil trailer / release date.
Yep.
Agatha trailer. I suggested we might get a Wonder Man update. We expected a Skeleton Crew trailer. And we were looking for an Andor Season 2 update.
Yeah, and then we mentioned about like maybe What If Season 3.
Yes.
Maybe something on the Spider-Man animated. And maybe
exactly.
a Star Wars animated thing if we were lucky.
Exactly. And I think overall we kind of got exactly what we predicted. I think the only notable thing we didn't get was any update about Wonder Man.
Yeah, and like the Star Wars stuff was surface level, which makes sense because they want to save any big stuff for later on.
Yeah, absolutely. So not many trailers got officially released.
No.
But the way D23 works is you are allowed to film. They don't say don't film in here. It's not like Hall H where if they say don't film, you're not allowed to film.
Yeah.
D23 is like, you can film as much as you want, but we're not going to necessarily release all of this. So we got trailers for, unofficial trailers, for Thunderbolts. What else
Thunderbolts
did we get?
Asterix.
Yeah. We got a Daredevil trailer via some sneaky filming.
We got Captain America.
We got Captain America new trailer. I think that was all the ones that had to be done sneakily.
Yeah.
And then out in the open, we got a Star Wars animated project in Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy with Darth Jar Jar.
Yes.
We got a Skeleton Crew trailer. Oh, we also got a leaked Ironheart trailer. Forgot about that.
And we also got the footage of Fantastic Four that was shown.
We did.
Some of the stuff shown was San Diego Comic-Con's the same thing, just reshown.
We got a first teaser for Percy Jackson Season 2.
Yes. Which we both forgot about.
Yeah, we got a new Agatha All Along trailer.
Mm.
So yeah, we got some bits.
We did quite well.
Yeah, the big thing was, in my opinion anyway, was the update on the animated side.
Yeah, so there was all the Marvel and Star Wars stuff, kind of
Mhm.
their announcements, and then I think it was the following day they had the animation panel.
Yes, the animation panel got its own thing, which is good because it shows that they're trying to give the animated side of Disney Studios the respect it deserves.
Yeah, so they did a lot of their announcements and a lot of things about stuff, animated projects that we kind of, I feel like we'd forgotten about and we're like maybe thought were on the back burner.
I think it was we didn't really have a clear timeline on what was
Yeah.
like the priority.
Yeah.
So I think we were just kind of plucking at stuff we were more excited for.
So there was Spider-Man did that get a date confirmed or?
I don't believe it got a date. It got a little bit of like footage shown with a big picture of loads of characters drawn up on the screen.
Yes.
In which you can see a future Foundation Spider-Man. You can see Norman Osborn. We also got the confirmation of who's going to be voicing Norman Osborn, which I don't have handy. So they showed some good stuff there. People are a little bit split on the art choices for this show, because it's like a 3D animation, but it's being animated in a very 2D style, and I think people are a little bit apprehensive about how
it's one where
nicely
you'll
they're
have to
going to
wait and
sit
see
together.
how it works out.
Yeah, for sure.
There was confirmation that Marvel Zombies is still happening.
Yeah, it's only going to be a 4-episode event.
I'm okay with that. I don't think that necessarily needs to be like overly stretched out.
I mean, if it's 4 like 45-minute episodes, I think that's okay.
We got the Wakanda one. I forgot.
Eyes of Wakanda.
Yeah, which is going to be a
Anthology.
Yeah, is that 4 parts or 6 parts?
I'm not sure if we
forget.
actually got an official announcement of how many
like
episodes. 4 episodes long.
It's 4 episodes. It's set in actual MCU timeline.
Yes. So I've got the bullet points here. It's 4 episodes long. It's canon to the MCU.
Yeah.
An Iron Fist will appear. It will be 3D CGI animation. It will dive deep into Wakandan history. Will take place during different time periods. So the episodes don't necessarily follow on. It might look at like big parts of history, and it will go, "What were Wakanda doing when this happened?"
Yeah.
You're going to see the War Dogs, which were obviously the almost like the CIA of Wakanda, who went out to like see what was going on. It looks like we're going to see something called a disruptor.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what that is. And I believe we're also going to see a bit of an understanding about Claw and how they like got into Wakanda. I believe one of the episodes is rumored to be set around how he broke in and stole the vibranium that like got used in Captain America's shield or whatever.
Got you. I think out of all of that, it's going to be very cool, obviously, to see some of the history stuff. I think the thing for me, I'm like, oh, interesting choice, is the Iron Fist inclusion.
I'm very interested. Is it going to be a Wakandan who was the Iron Fist?
Or is it just similar to how they had Winter Soldier come and kind of like learn to control himself there? Is it an Iron Fist guy come like they take him in to kind of improve him?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Because does that also now set up an Iron Fist to appear in the MCU? A new one that is done properly?
Yeah. It's really... It seems like they want to be able to use Iron Fist, but they're really struggling to work out how to make him fit when so much of the Netflix stuff is being kept, and it is rightly so it's being kept. But the big thing that you wouldn't want to keep from that is Iron Fist. You do find yourself going, do we just give this actor another chance because he wasn't the sole problem and just make sure he gets proper training and give him another go? or do we try and have a clean break just to try and get the taste out of people's mouth?
I wonder if it'll be a case of like they're going to show that Iron Fist did exist, and at least the mantle is something that could return, but maybe like they do it with a fresh character.
Maybe. What If Season 3 is going to be the end of What If,
Yeah.
which I vehemently disagree with.
I also take this as they say that's the end of this, like the way they word it almost to me is like they could still do What If, it's just going to be not set up the same way.
Yeah. My problem with What If, although I have enjoyed it, is that What If is inherently designed to be wacky adventures, and they still felt we need to link the series together.
Yeah, they nailed it with like each episode was a different what if scenario, but then they had this like underlying tie to like story that was tying it all together that kind of muddied it.
Give me 24 episode seasons where you literally just let the writers, let the artists like almost work completely freely. Because guess what? You can't damage a character's IP in a what if story. It's actually the only way you can't. You can have Peter Parker act like Homelander in a what if story.
Yeah.
Because it's a what if story. That what if allows you to get away with doing anything weird and wacky you want to do. Why are they not just going, go be weird and wacky?
Yeah, they could do like what if Spider-Man never pulled his punches.
Yeah.
And just went full force on anyone that he hit. Like, oh yeah, I wonder if something that we've talked about that we've said would fit under what if is doing like a Marvel Visions, like what Star Wars has done with Visions. I could see them restructuring, restarting this as maybe calling it Marvel Visions, but it is essentially what if, but it's like also gives them the freedom to let studios do these different styles. Because I think that together, we've said it, like, do the what if stories, so there's like no worry about canon or any issues there, and then you do give it to like 10 studios and let them all do their own style. You're going to get some really interesting like one-off projects.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Another thing that was an update, we got a bit of an update on X-Men 97.
Yes.
A really weird thing that the internet is being very internet about is it looks like the X-Men will be wearing the Grant Morris suits in season 2. These suits are a little bit divisive.
Okay.
Just because of the style of them, people aren't as fond of them. Some people like them, some people don't. But the general consensus is when everyone was so happy with how 97 looked with the character design, why would you change that?
I get you. I mean, like, I have to say, we know season 2 was already written, it's the same team behind like the art and stuff. They nailed it with season 1. I give them enough of a leeway and trust that this will work perfectly fine and still look great.
Oh yeah, I'm not particularly concerned, but just scrolling down on like the tweet that I saw announcing it, I shit you not, in the first like 10 tweets, it's these suits are always trash. We'll always have season 1. It's peak. I'm so excited. Oh my god, such a downgrade. Interesting choice. Love to see what they do with it. It's like it's so divisive. It's crazy.
I would love if everyone suddenly goes, you know what? I used to hate these suits. Love them now. Like whatever they do, somehow they just make them like enjoyed by everyone.
At the end of the day, when it comes to animation, as long as you like let the artist draw with a bit of passion, it will probably come out fine 99% of the time. I genuinely believe that in my soul.
Yeah.
And the other thing was that Marvel Zombies, X-Men 97, What If, Eyes of Wakanda, and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which were the 5 projects discussed, are all due to come out within the next 18 months. So, yes, basically by the end of 2025.
Yeah. Which is good. Loads of animated projects for us to watch.
I'm excited for all of them.
Going back to Star Wars stuff from D23, the trailer we got for Skeleton Crew. So this is like something I saw a few people on social media and like in the comments on the trailer and stuff on YouTube and whatnot. Is like everyone kind of went, it's really weird seeing a suburban like area
Yeah.
in Star Wars, but also kind of weird in a cool way
Yeah.
because we haven't
It makes
explored.
it feel more like an alien planet because it seems normal.
Yeah, it's like all the comments were like, well, yeah, everyone seems to forget that we only ever see Coruscant as like a major city. That's the only like major city planet we've like visually seen. Not everywhere's like Coruscant.
Yeah.
So I'm super down for this. Like what looks like school kids stupidly go into the woods, find a forgotten ship, and then end up in deep space.
It looks so incredibly fun, and I'm going to defend this show with my fucking life because these are children actors who do
Yes.
not deserve the abuse that Star Wars fans throw at the actors in these shows. They seem like they had a fuck ton of fun making it. Visually, it looks really interesting. What's not to love? It's giving Goonies, but in Star Wars.
Yeah. I hope that like I know the Star Wars fans that were mad about Acolyte. Obviously, there was still like canon stuff there that was like weaved into the story, timelines and whatnot. This is like from the trailer alone feels so separate to any of the canon stories and like Skywalker stories. I don't see how they are going to get too mad unless they suddenly like, oh boom, here's I don't know, some certain person from a Jedi, and like, oh shit, why did they have to include them?
Well,
Like
Jude Law's character appears to be a Jedi, doesn't he?
Force user, the kids go, oh my god, you're a Jedi, but we don't.
Imagine it turns out he's a Sith, and like in the third episode, he kills all the kids, and it's a massive bait and switch.
Goodbye, younglings, part 2.
How nuts would that be? I've said for the longest time there is a market for a 12-episode series, limited series, where the first 6 episodes are like kind of sitcom-y, rom-com-y drama, and then the end of the 6th episode, something happens, and the last 6 episodes are just straight up horror. And that sharp change in storytelling style there's money to be made there.
Imagine this ends, and it's like ends around the time of like when the original trilogy was, and everyone's like, oh no, they became younglings at the Jedi Temple. We know their fate. But it looks cool. I'm excited for it, considering we've had like no info really.
Yeah,
looks cool.
And we did get an update on Andor Season 2.
Yes, we did.
So it takes place over 4 years.
Yep.
There will be a 1-year time jump every 3rd episode. Ben Mendelsohn is returning as Director Krennic. Forrest Whitaker is returning as Saw Gerrera.
Yep.
And Alid Tudyk is returning to voice K2SO.
Yeah, because we, at the end of Andor Season 1, when they gave rough details about what Season 2 would be, they said it's going to basically ramp up in timeline speed, which is obviously this every 3 episodes it jumps.
Yeah.
Because it's going to end with basically being Rogue One time. I'm very excited.
Honestly, you know me, when it comes to like dramatic TV, I'm not a big rewatcher. Andor Season 1 might need to get a rewatch before this comes out. Even if it's just the episodes with my boy, Andy Serkis.
I still stand by my prediction at the end of that season, which I said he's still alive.
I choose to believe he is. I choose to believe he is.
He's still alive, but I don't think his fate's going to be very good in Season 2.
No, he lives forever. He will never die. Of course, the most exciting bit of news for us is the Daredevil trailer that got leaked.
Yes.
Obviously, we didn't watch the leak because that would be wholly inappropriate. We just read the word-for-word articles.
Yeah, we read the descriptions of the trailers that were shown.
Yeah. Straight off the bat, White Tiger looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, that seems really cool.
Sadly, the actor's passed away.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know.
No.
So, Kamar Doles Reyes, I may have mispronounced that, I do apologise, was cast in it, and we saw some set leaks that made people think that White Tiger was involved. But because of how plain-ish the suit seemed, people like that might just be a nice base suit for them to be able to CGI over later, so we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Seems like it is White Tiger. But he sadly passed away in December of last year.
Yeah, and I think obviously it's tough because this has been rewritten and different things. We've not really got details of who's in it other than the main like 4, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not like they can be like, oh, so and so who plays this in the upcoming Daredevil, because then that revealed it. So unfortunately, yeah, it's a bit like what happened with Ahsoka and with
Ray Stevenson.
Yeah, he didn't get to see the reception, and this is going to be the same, unfortunately.
I'm very excited for this. White Tiger's a really cool character. That adds a bit of mysticism, and I'm always down for a bit more mysticism, especially in New York. I really enjoy mysticism in big, urban cities where you don't associate magic at all. And it opens the door for his daughter to come in and take the role later on, which is exactly what happens in the comics.
Okay.
I believe White Tiger is a bit more villainous, and then she takes over the role and becomes more of a hero, if I'm correct.
There was also a clip described where there's multiple masks shown.
Yes, multiple Daredevil masks.
Man's gone full Iron Man with Mark 1 through 5.
Well, we saw it in She-Hulk. He was grabbing some.
Well, yeah, and he had
grabbing some extra suits.
Yeah, and he had different stuff on from the Netflix era.
We know John Bernthal is back as Punisher.
Yep.
We know Foggy and Karen are back.
Yep. We know Kingpin's back.
It also appears that maybe Matt and Kingpin aren't completely against each other in this season. At least in this trailer they were given, seems like for at least part of the show they will be spending more time working out how to deal with Muse rather than how to deal with each other, which is interesting.
Yeah. I think it's gonna, I made the prediction that obviously before we got all the details, I was going off the idea that there was a snap and Kingpin started to get control back. It's obviously going to be a case of he's probably trying to keep Kingpin in line, and they have their usual cat and mouse or whatever. Then whatever the Muse character comes along and obviously poses a bigger threat to them both, or at least to Matt, where he's goes to Kingpin and wants him to look. Can you just chill out for a couple of weeks while we deal with this? It'll be interesting to see.
Well, we know based off the end of Echo, they're teasing him running for mayor.
Yes.
Now, I'm not sure how aware you are of this, but obviously in the comics he does become mayor. He creates his own task force of villains that are basically legally hunting down superheroes, because superheroes are now banned in New York. And then he gets eventually caught for being a criminal, because he's still a criminal while being mayor, and goes to prison. And the person who takes his place is the one and only Luke Cage. So I'm hoping we get some confirmation that we keep our Netflix Luke Cage. I forget the actor's name because he was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was.
But Charlie Cox has also had a little bit of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge that there might be some, how do you describe it, interesting collisions with the MCU. So maybe a couple of cameos from MCU characters making a subtle appearance.
She-Hulk returns.
I would love
just a booty call on episode 3.
So it's been really funny, as I've said before. Me and Jenna are rewatching all the Netflix stuff.
Yes.
And every time Matt does something that's just a little bit horny, I just turn to Jenna. I was like, I'd like to remind you, this man may be a devout Catholic. He's a massive slut. And do not, I'm not slut shaming him. I'm slut stating a fact. Matthew Murdock is the largest slut in Marvel history. And do not let anyone gaslight you into thinking otherwise. But I'm really curious to see if we. It'd be just. I love comic books because of the interaction between characters, and Marvel does a lot of that interaction through New York. So Daredevil is at the heart of a lot of them interactions alongside your Spider-Mans and your Kingpins. So having Daredevil and Kingpin in this show, and now they have access to the wider MCU, I am just there like, give me some fun interactions. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be much. Just give me something.
Yeah.
And that's I'm really excited for this show. We know a lot of the crew and the writers and stuff like that from Daredevil when it was on Netflix have come to work on this. We know what them people do when they're left to get shit done. So I'm not worried about it.
I'm gonna make a prediction for an MCU character that shows up.
Okay.
Happy. Because
Yeah.
if you remember in Spider-Man, he mentions to Happy about, oh, you've had a few things go missing. Something maybe you need to get a lawyer to. Like, he mentions about that. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's like an episode where Happy rocks up as, need my lawyer.
Yeah. The Thunderbolts trailer.
Yes.
I'm gonna say it. Sauce. It feels good.
It does.
That kind of the described action scene. And no, that one kind of like legally got leaked. It was quite funny, but still. Where they all realise they've been sent there separately.
Yeah.
And you get to see the new Taskmaster suit, which looks fucking lit.
Yes.
The new Ghost suit, which also looks lit.
Yeah.
And the kind of like them bouncing off each other. That looks fun.
Do we know who Bob is?
Yes. Sentry is the understanding.
Okay.
So it seems like later on in the trailer, there's a description of a man walking out with like loads of people pointing guns at him in like a medical dress, which I believe is Bob. Bob might just have been someone who's also in the prison, but I believe it's Bob. And also in the trailer, you see someone picking up a belt buckle.
Okay.
That I believe is the Sentry belt buckle.
Got you.
So that should have been Stephen Ewan. Which we missed out on. That is the understanding currently. So I believe either Sentry went a bit loco and killed everyone in the secure facility he was being held in. So they sent the Thunderbolts in to neutralise him. Or he's being held by like a different government, and because what's her face, Claudia, who seems to be a little bit evil, seems to be the person who sent them.
Yeah.
Maybe she sent them in to get this asset because
Possibly.
we would like the big powerful man. Not quite sure. The only kind of valid criticism I've seen is Bucky seems to have regressed. By the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he was like happy. He was integrating in society. He had a nice short haircut to show his growth and that he wasn't being grumpy and moody anymore. And once again, the long hair is back and he's looking a bit grumpy and moody. So people are a little bit worried that after all that character development for Bucky, they might have regressed him slightly. I
wonder if it'll be more of a case of they haven't really shown properly what it's going to be a case of like he doesn't want to get involved, but you also have to look at it as like he'd improved and he was better, and then you get like Anthony Mackie's character, why am I forgetting? Obviously Sam then disappears off and becomes Captain America and is just deep in all that. He's kind of back on his own.
I'm hoping it's going to be kind of a every time I get out they pull me back in type situation. Instead of he's just regressed and he's like there. Some people think in the trailer we got a little teaser that looked like they were looking over a city. So some people think whoever this entity is the people who bought Avengers Tower. I feel like that'd be a really fucking boring way to handle it. But we'll wait and see. I want it now. Now that we know that that Robert Downey Jr. is back as Doom. Go all in, make it that building have been bought by Latveria as their embassy.
He's just back.
Yeah, he's chilling back in Tony's bedroom as Doctor Doom. I don't give a fuck. Go all in on it.
I reckon it's more likely going to be. Do you know what I think it'd be cool is if Kingpin bought it?
That's what I've been hoping for since day one, after Baxter building. But now that we know,
Yeah, that's different universe.
Now that we know it's a different universe, it doesn't make any sense. Agatha trailer, very similar to what we'd already seen. It is definitely a little bit more interesting than the first trailer we got.
Yeah, I would say it looked better.
Seems very Wizard of Oz inspired. There's a lot of Wizard of Oziness to it.
But I think that's them kind of going back to how WandaVision was with the like throwback to styles. I think this is going to be like a mixing styles of which films into this and just stylistically. I think it could be quite cool. It'd be interesting if it ends. Something I was thinking of is like, obviously we don't know what the current situation is with Wanda. We presume she's alive because we never saw her body.
Number one, if you don't see a body, they're not dead.
So it'd be interesting if this show ends with a reveal of Wanda being alive somewhere.
Ironheart trailer once again looked really good to me.
Yeah.
After the events of Wakanda Forever, she's gone back. She's been kicked out of MIT.
Well, she's back at MIT, but obviously she didn't get to keep the suit, so then she wants to rebuild another suit and starts doing...
she can't get them to like fund the project because there's so many geniuses at MIT. Why should we give all of the budget to you?
Yeah.
Looks like she might turn to a little bit of a life of crime.
Goes back to some of her old ways.
It seems very much, as it should be, to be kind of pointing out that Tony Stark only got to be the hero he was because he already had the resources, which he did get from selling weapons of mass destruction. And instead, she's trying to be as big a hero, so she's kind of like, we're just committing robbery against banks. That's a lesser evil.
Yeah.
And then I will be able to do good for actual people with the suit.
Yeah.
And I think if they try and tell the story that way, it could be very interesting.
Yeah, and I'm down for the idea of watching her try to rebuild this suit with her own resources, not Wakanda tech.
Yeah, you know how I felt about her appearance in Wakanda Forever. I think this show's going to be a heater. Yeah. I'm very excited.
For sure.
Did you notice the memes going around about the Percy Jackson teaser?
No.
So people were comparing the teaser for season 1, where he goes, "My name's Percy Jackson," versus him saying the same line in the season 2 teaser.
Has his voice dropped an octave or whatever?
About 4.
I have to say, I saw the teaser and I was like, you can tell he's aged.
Well, do you not remember when we were watching season 1? Like, by the end of the season, he'd gone from, like, being, like, 2 inches taller than Annabeth to being, like, a foot taller. I was like, that really hurts the sell of it's been, like, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's so tough.
And obviously, like, once you start growing, you don't stop when you're that age. It's just how it happens. So, yeah,
well, and from, like, you can have growth spurts.
Exactly. But, like, in the first one, it's like, "Hi, my name's Percy Jackson." Then this one's like, "Hi, I'm Percy Jackson."
It's
just funny.
It's one of those like unfortunate things that it's tough to avoid when you're doing like child actors, because unless you literally film it all non-stop, back-to-back seasons of filming, this is going to happen. And yeah, I mean, look at like a prime example is look at Stranger Things. Like that final season's coming out soon, who knows. And like, look at when they started season 1, and then look at their characters now.
Yeah. Then of course that we got the look at the Captain America trailer.
Yes.
I'm very excited for this film, Hori.
Red Hulk looks real good. It's a nice.
I'm incredibly excited for this film.
We also in the clips there's moments where he's more with the new Falcon.
And
it looks like they have from the descriptions, the Falcon is now camoed, which I think is kind of cool.
I'm so incredibly excited that they turned Captain America and Falcon into a duo, and the mantles of the duo. Like, I love it so much. I
Yeah.
remember the hype when Captain America, when Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out, and that was like when I didn't know as much, but I was much better at noticing when they were like, "You should care about this person." I'm like googling this motherfucker's name. I'm like, "Why did you give me that person's full name?" I Google it. It's like, "Oh, he was the next Falcon. Awesome."
Yeah.
Really, really excited for, honestly, everything that's due to come out in 2025 from Marvel has me incredibly excited.
Let's hope they can stick it.
Like we're due to have Thunderbolts, Captain America, Fantastic Four, Daredevil Born Again. All live action projects in 2025.
Pretty solid. Also, we're gonna get X-Men 97.
Like, I am very excited to live in a world with potentially a very good Fantastic Four and Daredevil project coming out within months of each other.
Yeah, that is gonna be cool.
Yeah, like we might be in the best timeline again. Took us a little while. We took the long way around, but we might be back in the best timeline. I think that's everything major from D23.
I think it was. It was a fairly solid. The only thing I still wish they'd shown was an updated MCU timeline. Like,
yes.
Slate, but I guess we'll have to wait.
Oh, there is heavy rumors that Marvel Studios is getting ready to release a feature-length animated project.
Oh yes.
Which the assumption is naturally so that it's going to be a film to end the X-Men 97 series. So it might be like 3 seasons of X-Men 97 and then a film to end it.
That could be cool. I also wonder if this was what the animated budgeted thing we originally heard rumors, and we were like, "Oh, is this another show that's coming?" Maybe it was actually this.
Yeah, very possible.
Oh, I will also one last thing on the Star Wars stuff. They mentioned about Mando and Grogu.
Yes.
Showed a couple of first looks and stuff of that, which is finished filming and is now in the start of post-production.
Okay.
I think is what they said, which is good because obviously now he's on Fantastic Four. They've obviously just been busy away filming that without us really knowing. Yeah, there was some cool shots in that, and I think that's going to be really good as well when that comes out.
So do I. I'm excited for everything. I try my best to be excited for everything until I'm given a reason not to be.
We'll get on to stuff about that in the news later.
Yes, we will. But film and TV always do well. They always have. They probably always will.
Yeah.
Do you know what struggles?
What's
the
that?
Written word.
Yeah, Shakespeare's just not loved the same anymore.
Exactly. No, I love comic books. I do. I really do. And I was sat there and I was like, how do we get people into comics? Comics are struggling. So I decided to do a little bit of research. So I'm gonna read some bits first to kind of set the scene, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
So comics are struggling, and despite the success of superhero films over the years, it's never convinced the mainstream media or the mainstream fan to pick up a comic. But actually it has. In North American revenue from comic books and graphic novels, sales have gone from 805 million in 2012, when the first Avengers came out, to 2.16 billion in 2022. With the biggest jump being 995 million from 2020 to 2021. This was largely due to COVID-19. However, comic book sales did fall again from 22 to 2023, back down to 1.87 billion. However, this is still massively above the 1.28 billion of 2020 pre-COVID. Despite this, most people you'll speak to have never read a comic book and would never even consider picking up one. So, how do we make them more appealing, and what would it take for you to go to your local store and buy a comic? And this is something I really struggle to understand, because these films, like we were discussing, 3 weeks ago, Marvel films, the MCU has made over 30 billion.
Yeah.
How are comics like? This is what I don't understand. How have loads of these people not gone out and picked up a comic?
I mean, I'll be honest, like, look at me for an example, right? I love the Marvel stuff. I love Star Wars. I haven't. Yes, I've taken the time to research characters and stuff when they're like shown in films and go look into the comic book stuff. And obviously, through proxy of you, I've learned a lot more about the comics. But I haven't actually gone out and bought any MCU comics.
Yeah,
and that's not necessarily like, oh, I refuse to. It's more just a kind of, I don't know, partly money, because for me at my situation, but like also it's something I know in myself that I'm surprised I haven't put more effort into, considering my artist side of me.
Yeah, you're like the perfect study case into why it isn't working, because how many books from films and stuff about the art of a film do you have?
I have a couple of films and many for games.
There you go. So you've got entire books dedicated to art of stuff you love. And it's like, how do we sell you on, here is book of art with also story of characters you like?
Prime example, right? The Batman film. We both loved it. What did I do as soon as it came out? Bought the art book. Have I got a Batman comic? No. But do you want to know something interesting? And I meant to say this in like, what have I done this last week at the start of the episode? I read a webcomic this week.
Okay.
Absolutely binged it because I stumbled across this webcomic and then I was immediately hooked when I started reading it. It's called Kill 6 Billion Demons.
That is a very on the nose title.
Oh yeah.
How many have they managed to kill so far?
I don't actually know, but I think there is a running joke that. So this is, I binged this in one go. This is a webcomic that's been going on for like 11 years. It's done by one person. Their Twitter's Orbital Dead Dropkick or something. But yeah, there's 6 books with many chapters, like 5 or 6 chapters in each. Some actually have more. And like, it's purely you can buy it as a physical means, but like I binged it, and it's like I stumbled onto this because I stumbled upon a tabletop RPG called Lancer, which is a mech themed tabletop RPG, similar like how D&D is, but like mech themed. It has its own book, and I was like, oh, the artwork looks amazing. Found out it's by this artist, and they have a webcomic, so I was like, oh, cool. Then I binged the webcomic that I got absolutely hooked on. It's a very cool webcomic. The artwork is incredible. I definitely recommend reading it. Basic premise is mortal gets taken into what is actually heaven, but it's not heaven how we all imagine heaven to be. Heaven is gone. There is no angels left, and it's been taken over by like devils and demons and stuff. And there's a whole story to what's going on there, and now this mortal gets involved with it all. It's very cool, and yeah, I think it's definitely worth a read for anyone that has. But like, that's the thing. I loved the artwork, or I stumbled across the artist, loved their art, then found a webcomic and read it. Which then questions like, why am I not doing that with comics?
Do you think there's an element of not knowing where to start? Because it is kind of a intimidating area to kind of jump at.
I do think that is part of it. I think also it's like, for me, I have a couple of comics, or at least one that I can see from here, called Arcadia, which I got back in uni, which was like one that I literally spotted. It's like obviously a few comics in like one book.
Yeah.
Purely
like
the art style. Yeah, like a little purely the art style grabbed me, and it was an interesting story. I'd have to reread it to remember fully, but I think that's my thing. It's like, for me, I need to be like, see like a unique art style, something that catches my attention. Also, having no clue where to start, I'm just like, no, figure that out another time.
So for me, because obviously, like, I just headbutted the wall until I worked out what I was doing, and it isn't easy at all. What I found was really easy was finding stories that you like. There's famous stories like the Civil War story and like Long Halloween or The Dark Knight Returns. Like there are famous stories that exist.
Yeah.
And what they tend to do is they tend to then get made into a graphic novel. So, for instance, Civil War was an event that happened across like 8 different ongoing comics. Yeah, so like some of the issues are Wolverine issues, like in Wolverine's ongoing. Some of them were Spider-Man's ongoing, and so on and so forth. And then what this book does is it gets all of them issues, and it puts them in together. So like these are all of the Civil War stories in a row. There you go. I think that's the best way to get into it.
Yeah.
Because that's how I got into it. It was a case of, okay, what's a story that I want to read? Which, when I was getting into comics around the time of like Civil War and stuff, it was easier because on Twitter you see, oh, they're adapting this story. So you Google that story, and then you'll find the book for that story. Like we saw when James Gunn said the All-Star Superman and Supergirl Wonder Tomorrow, they sold out fucking everywhere because people knew what to do. They were like, oh, that's the story you're adapting. I will go read that. And then once you've read enough of them, you'll start to get an idea of what you like.
Yeah.
Characters-wise, storytelling-wise, and you can use that to make an informed decision. But also, you'll feel like you know a little bit more what's going on to be able to try and find other stuff. But what I will say is, if there is a character you know you like, and you just want to read them, Spider-Man is the easiest example. You can go to Forbidden Planet, or even better, if you have a close local comic book shop, you can go to them, and you can go, can you let me know every time you got the new Spider-Man issue in, and reserve me a copy. And yes, you'll be starting on one sec. Let me grab the most recent Spider-Man I've got. So this is Spider-Man 19 of the current run, but if you notice here, it says Legacy 913.
Yeah.
Because this has been going since one in like 1960, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're going to be 900 issues out, but you don't have to go back and reread them. And I think this is where being British actually helps us. If you decided you wanted to start watching EastEnders tomorrow, you wouldn't go back and rewatch the last 10 years of EastEnders. You would just start watching it, except you're going to be a little bit lost for a little while. But you also know in 2 weeks' time of watching it every day, you will be caught up.
That's a very solid way of putting it, actually.
Yeah. It's literally the exact same idea with ongoing comics like Batman or Detective Comics or Amazing Spider-Man that have been going on for hundreds of issues. Just pick one up, and if you enjoy it, get the next one and the next one and the next one. And then after 4 months, you will be caught up on what's going on. And you'll be like, okay, cool, I know what's going on now. So, like, I started collecting this run at issue 1, which is always a great hopping on point.
Yeah.
But that wasn't like a brand new story. It was just a new writer had taken over. There was still an ongoing story from the previous writer. And I was like, okay, I don't really know what's happening here. But by issue 6, I was like, okay, cool, I know what's going on. That's fine. The other good option at the minute, especially if you love Spider-Man, is the Ultimate Spider-Man comics that are coming out. So I think issue 8 arrived today for me. And they're phenomenal. Jonathan Hickman is one of the best writers around at the minute. But this is the thing, it's very much kind of... It is difficult, because how do you know what you like if you can't try it? And how do you know what to try if you don't know what you're looking for?
Yeah.
I almost feel like the best possible suggestion, which is crazy because the kind of people who like comic books, people like me who get crazy anxiety, is just go to your local comic book shop and talk to the person there. I have never ever been to a comic book shop, and I've been to comic book shops in different countries, up and down the country. Everywhere I go, I see if there's a comic book shop nearby, just in case. Go in there. The person will always have a chat with you. But they are such, because you don't choose to work in a comic book shop if you have zero interest.
Yeah.
So for instance, when we went to Cardiff, I got Daredevil Man Without Fear by Frank Miller. Again, I picked that up because I've always heard that Frank Miller's Daredevil story was amazing. So I was like, oh, that's there. I'll try that. Volume. It's a self-contained story. You can read it. You don't need anything more than that. You don't need anything after that, and you get a taste for it.
Yeah.
And I picked up Daredevil Born Again because I was like, okay, cool. I know they're basing the new series off that. I'll pick that up as well.
Yeah.
And I go there to pick them up, and he's like, these are two really good books. Granted, if he's a decent salesman, he's not going to go, oh, these are shit, I don't know why you've got them. But they'll have their own opinions. They'll have discussions with you. So, Hori's example of finding an artist you like is really, really not a bad idea. If you just like Google comic book artists and find an art style you like, then go see what they've done the drawings for, and then see what like them stories might align with what you want. Or you can look for a particular character. If you're looking for a particular character, just jump into their current ongoing. You'll be caught up in no time. If you don't like having to wait very often, buy them in volumes. So, for instance, I believe the pre-order for Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman, Volume 1, because they're doing one issue a month of that. It's only 12 issues a year. I believe, because we've only got 2 months until it's been 12 issues, I think when that comes out, they'll be releasing Volume 1, which will have 1 to 12 in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be like 15 quid probably, maybe 20 quid. I don't know what their pricing will be. But that will have the entire first year of the new Ultimate Spider-Man, and you'll be able to read the first year, and you'll be up to date. It's not easy, but it's one of them things that if you've been going to the cinema for the last 16 years for all of the Marvel films, and you've been trying the DC films, and you've been watching Invincibles, and you've been watching Vox Machina, and you've been watching all these other animated shows that are telling compelling stories about essentially superheroes, there is a comic book out there for you.
Yeah. I think also maybe something, at least for like the Marvel or DC ones where there's just so many, obviously you can get the digital subscription or whatever and get them as like
Marvel
webcomics.
Unlimited is Marvel Unlimited is I think like $10 a month, which isn't cheap, but I spend 20 quid a month on my comics.
I could see a way like you pay for a month of that to essentially then be able to browse through like all different characters and use that as a way to find a character that you want to. Oh, I can jump into like read one and like okay, I'll jump into this one. I'm pretty sure they do
like a 2 or 3 week free trial as well. So you could do the 2 week free trial. Go okay, let me flick through, see what jumps out at me, and then you can exactly do that. They've just relaunched a bunch of X-Men, so I got my first issue of the new X-Men recently, which was really exciting. It's great. But I promise you, if you're the kind of person who's listening to this podcast because you love these superhero films so much, I struggle to believe you wouldn't enjoy comics. It's crazy. Because they are so dang good. But if in doubt, try Marvel Unlimited as an idea for 2 weeks. Look for artists you like. Look for the kind of stories you want. And if you're really in doubt, go to your local comic book shop and talk to the person running it. They will help you, and they'll probably be really happy for the conversation.
Yeah, even if it's just like a theme of genre. Yeah. Like we're mentioning obviously a lot about Marvel and DC, but like the two that the webcomic that I've read is completely standalone. Like it's just fantasy demons, but like you could go.
Brendan Lee Mulligan did a webcomic for years, which he's not updated for years, and I know people bombard him on Twitter asking him to do more of. You've got Image Comics, who did Invincible, who regularly did release stuff.
I just was looking then because I knew you could get Kill 6 Billion Demons in print. It's by Image Comics. They've got the first 4 books as like volumes that you can buy, actually in print. So yeah, Image Comics, I know they do a bunch. I think they've even, I think, is it Dark Horse is another one?
I believe so.
Because they've done
Imi-
stuff with Critical Role, I think.
Yeah. Image Comics, while they do a lot of their own stuff in house, I'm pretty sure they're also very happy to work with like indie writers
Yeah.
as just a publisher, which is also really good. And I will plug it always, despite us having like not even 600 subs. If anyone wants me to help write a comic, I will do it right fucking now. One day I will be part of a comic book that gets mass printed, because I have so many ideas to give and so much to add. I promise I can do it.
Last thing to note, the artist for that
Go on.
webcomic got to do a Wolverine comic.
Very cool.
They
Very,
did
very cool.
Savage Wolverine.
Very cool. I mean, if you're doing a webcomic called Kill 6 Billion Demons, you probably get the aggression needed for a good Wolverine comic.
Yeah. As soon as I read that, I was like, I feel that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, go to your local comic book shop.
Yeah, go support
Show
him.
some love. From saving comic books to saving video game studios, Josh is back again with another Gaming Monthly update. Welcome back, Josh.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure it was me myself that saved them, but
What studio have you saved?
Josh is getting the credit.
breaking news. No, since the last episode, it's been fairly quiet in the video game space. From last month's games that we spoke about to come out, the ones that have come out, EA Sports College Football got a 85, which for a sports game is a very high score. Flintlock Siege of Dawn, which was on Game Pass and one we discussed that I was looking forward to, is sitting on a 70 at the minute. Not the best. I've not played it myself, so I'm not going to judge it just yet. I will get around to it. And F1 Manager 24 is sitting on an 82. So both of the sports games getting pretty solid scores as we predicted. But yet to release for the rest of this month. We've got Madden 25, which as we're recording comes out tomorrow. Black Myth Wukong, which I'm very much looking forward to, on the 20th of August.
Is that Game Pass day one?
No, I think it's only PS5 and PC.
Oh, okay, maybe
but
that's why I'm getting myself confused.
Don't quote me on that, but that rings bells.
Too late.
We've got Concord on the 23rd of August, which I believe is also PS5 and PC only, no Xbox.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. That's on the 23rd of August. WoW War Within DLC update, whatever you want to call it.
Expansion.
26th of August. I can imagine that's probably going to get some decent ratings.
Yeah.
As they always do. Visions of Mana, 29th of August, and Star Wars Outlaws on the 30th of August. So the end of this month is pretty stacked compared to earlier this month and pretty much the whole of last month.
Yeah.
I feel like summer months are always more quiet. Just because they're like, oh no, people are going to want to be outside where it's warm and nice. They're not going to be inside that much. Is that
This
just
is
me?
gamers we're talking about. We don't touch
Yeah,
grass,
but I
come
think
on.
also, like, you've got to look at it. They know parents obviously spend the money for these games. If they're taking their kids on holidays and stuff, they're not probably buying their kids the same amount of games.
True.
Yeah, Black Myth Wukong, Vision of Mana, and Star Wars Outlaws are all ones that I'm going to be checking out. So it's going to be busy and expensive. And I know at the start of September we've got Astro Bot on PS5, and a couple of weeks into September there is something else coming out. So that is escaping
Assassin's
me.
Creed Shadows?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
There's also
Unfiltered.
Frozen
Oh no, that's
Liberty,
November now.
MMO.
I can't. There's so much happening.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot to look forward to, boys, which is decent.
Always
We
good.
absolutely love to see it. Announcement, news, and updates. So there has been some, and one that we've spoke about briefly in the Discord, but we're very excited about. And Tango Gameworks, the dev of Hi-Fi Rush, has been saved after getting
By yours
axed.
truly, apparently.
Yeah, apparently
Yeah.
by me, but I can't confirm it wasn't.
Incredibly rich man, he bought it himself.
I wish, mate, I wish. No, but I quote from Adam Bankhurst at IGN. PUBG publisher Krafton has acquired Tango Gameworks and the Hi-Fi Rush IP from Xbox, meaning the studio will no longer be shut down. Krafton shared the news in a press release alongside confirming that as part of the strategic agreement, Krafton intends to collaborate with Xbox and ZeniMax to ensure a smooth transition and maintain continuity at Tango Gameworks, allowing the talented team to continue developing the Hi-Fi Rush IP and explore future projects. End quote. So yeah, that's. I mean, we was all
I mean,
excited
yeah.
to see that.
Everyone
mean-
on the internet was very sad when it got announced that the Hi-Fi
was
Rush studio was getting shut down.
I mean, it was a scary bit of news. You like for a while you'd had games that had underperformed, and then the studio got axed, and then you have this studio that releases one of like the best received games of the year. All of the numbers say it did phenomenally well, and that still wasn't enough to protect them. So it left a lot of people kind of going, "So how do you keep your studio alive in 2024 and beyond?"
You go indie. That's how you
But
stay
yeah, I
alive.
mean, this is good news. Anything
Yeah,
further
yeah.
from
Interesting to
Hi-Fi
see
Rush.
the PUBG publisher starting to. I don't know what else they have.
Yeah, the name rings a bells. I don't even know if I was pronouncing it right. Apologies if anyone knows better.
So I wonder if this is their first like
Um,
venture away from PUBG.
I definitely recognise the name, unless I literally only recognise it from PUBG. Which, looking at their games, I think it might
They also
be.
do Dark and Darker by the looks of it, or Dark and Darker Mobile maybe.
Bowling King, Mini Golf King. Lots of mobile
Subnautica.
games. Subnautica, yeah, I've just seen that.
That's
Oh,
that.
okay.
So that's another big one.
That might be
Was
where I
Ron-
recognise the name
Was
from.
Ronin the Last Samurai the one that was pretty well received as well? I know it's a mobile game.
No,
I
you're
must be
probably
getting
thinking
confused.
of Rise of the Ronin.
Ah, that's probably what I am thinking of. You're right.
Yeah,
Um,
regardless, good news.
Of
I
course.
don't know if there'll be a Hi-Fi Rush 2 or if it will just be more games within that universe or style of game. Either way, we'll probably be there. Xbox day one, fingers crossed.
No, they might just go PS5 only to kind of spite Microsoft for this bullshit.
Oh shit, you
Wouldn't
ain't wrong.
surprise me.
Imagine.
It'll be
That's
the
big.
first time it's happened.
We're going from good news to bad news. Game Informer has been shut down after 33 years. All of the people that had magazine subscriptions, I personally used their games calendar as my like personal calendar to keep track of what's going on. So as I went to update this Google Doc for our pod, the calendar was gone. I've now have to use different sources, but yeah, obviously loads of people are losing their jobs over at Game Informer, which isn't the most ideal.
And didn't it? Oh, I might be getting myself confused here, but did this not happen like basically just instantly? Like there was no real notice. The website just kind of got taken down. All the social media got deleted basically in like an hour.
Yeah, because they only recently updated their magazine subscription and they were sending out like old copies of stuff for people that had signed up. So like there was no sort of indication to the public. I think I'd imagine some of the team were aware and stuff. But from an outside point of view, it didn't look like anything was coming. And then, like you say, it just sort of happened. And it was all over my Twitter feed last week, I believe it was, which is obviously very sad to see.
Yeah, it's
I never like seeing anything shut down. Finally, the PS5 monthly subscriptions is, in my opinion, one of the best we've had in a very long time. We got Witcher 3, obviously
great
one of
game.
the best games ever made. Wasn't for me. Controversial, I know. Cult of the Lamb, which I loved. I played that on Switch. Highly recommend checking out. Wild Hearts. Wild Hearts or Cult of the Lamb?
Cult of the Lamb.
Cult of the Lamb's
is
like
very good.
TikTok viral, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like a roguelike. Came out 2022, I want to say, is when I played it. Really good. And it actually has Twitch chat integration, I'm pretty sure, if you play it on PC. I don't know how that works, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure it does. Watch Dogs 2. I've actually not played any of the Watch Dogs games.
Missing out.
Yeah, I know. It feels like I've got the first one on my backlog.
First one's worth.
The first one is. I could talk for hours.
I feel like I played it at some point and then sort of never got around to it again. But classic, for those that have the top tier of PlayStation Plus, all the Time Splitters games, all the PS2 ones, all being added to the classic collection. I used to have them back in the day on PS2.
OG game.
Proper OG, a proper if you know, you know. But yeah, that's a very exciting one. What have we been playing? We're going to have a bit more of a discussion here rather than me just reeling off loads of information. Boys, what have you two been playing?
So, I am terrible for finishing story games. This we know.
Yes.
That's an understatement.
I want a bit of props here. Because I decided to get ready for Assassin's Creed Shadows. I was going to go and play the Assassin's Creed games I hadn't played. Starting with Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. I started
Taking
Origins.
on the biggest ones out of all of them.
I should have started with Black Flag.
So I started Origins back in May, and then got distracted by X-Defiant and other things. And I normally that would be like, oh, I got distracted for too long, I won't go back now. I've gone back to it. I'm back playing it, and I'm getting through it.
You're welcome.
The story's good. I am enjoying it. The combat is janky as fuck.
It's Assassin's Creed, mate.
Yeah.
No, it's fucking not, because I recently played the original 1 and 2.
Well,
And what you used to be able to do there was, if you like parried someone, and as that animation was finishing, someone else went to attack you, you could spam the button and it would like cut the animation short so you could parry the next person.
You get the execution streak going. That was from
Exactly.
Brotherhood onwards, yeah.
Yeah. This doesn't have it.
yeah, because
And you'll get them like a split second one after the other double attacking you, and you can't defend yourself from the second guy. So you're just fucked.
you know that's because
And
they
that is
tried to
bad
make
design.
well, they tried to make the combat more realistic, so you weren't just animation cancelling essentially.
Yeah, no, fuck realism. Realism has literally never made a video game better, ever.
It's this. What happened with Assassin's Creed was they tried to make everything more polished, but it actually made it feel less fluid.
Yeah. Also, one thing that really made me laugh, I've just got so I'm currently on like the second tier of people you have to assassinate after you find out them first 5 that killed your son aren't all of them. You go to help that guy and then you get left in the desert to die, and then you have to like pull yourself out and shit. I found it really funny, I had to laugh, that they buried me in the desert to die with still like a modesty garb on, which is obviously just to protect, but they also left me with my hidden blade. It's like, so you've taken all of my armor, my swords, everything, but you've left me with my hidden blade.
The most crucial
It's
part
so
of the
hidden.
equipment
Which
of an
is so
assassin.
funny.
It was so hidden they didn't see it.
Yeah.
So well hidden. But I'm enjoying it. I want to finish it off. At some point, I want to like sit down and create a backlog list. So that I'm like, right, this is what I've already got installed. This is what I know I need to finish. And then just every time you come on here and you say a game like Star Wars Outlaws that I want to play, I'll just throw it on the fucking list. But gaming's good at the minute.
It's got better. I mean, so last time you were on, I just started playing Once Human.
Yeah.
And was deep in that grind. It lasted probably about another 5 days. And then I hit endgame.
Is that your playthrough of the whole game?
Well,
yeah.
hit endgame, realized there wasn't really much compelling about the endgame. Plus, a lot of the endgame content was still locked into like future weeks in the season.
Oh, okay.
And then I was just like, yeah, I can't be bothered playing this.
No, I'm not waiting that long.
Also, this wipes in 4 weeks, which is, I think it might be this week or next week it wipes. So we'll see what happens and if everyone will probably be talking about that. So then I've been playing Rust on and off. Mecha Break, which was that mech game.
Yep.
I got into the closed beta or whatever. So tried that out. It's decent. It's very cool. The mechs are very sick. The customization, like paint wise and stuff that you can do, is like pretty in depth. It's one of those where it's a beta, so it's hard to like judge it. There's like 2 game modes that you get to play. So I'll probably pick it up again down the line when it's a bit more released. And then this last week I got into the Spectre Divide playtest, which is Shroud's game.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun.
You got into that?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think I might be hooked.
Yeah.
It's
I've been watching a lot of gameplay.
Is it going to be free to play when it comes out, or do we not know yet?
I'm
imagine
gonna
so.
guess so, because there is like it's locked on the UI, but there is a battle pass and there's a store. I imagine it's going to be similar to like Valorant, as in they make their money through skins.
How does the 2 playable characters at the same time feel? Does it make it feel a bit slower, or does it make it feel chaotically fast?
Kind of a bit of mix of both. It depends. Like it's strange how it's nice having not. This is gonna sound like toxic to randomers, but like in Valorant, where say you're 3 people, 3 friends and 2 randos, you're trusting they understand your comms, or they give comms clear enough for like where someone is if someone dies. Having 2 lives essentially means like it's a lot easier to kind of play the rounds and have knowledge of what's going on.
Yeah, I suppose if you die, you go
Yeah.
back to the other character, you sort of know where they were.
So it
You
kind of makes
can-
it easy to almost carry.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But
Right,
it
yeah.
it makes for a lot of fun stuff because like you can very easily do like switch sites that you're planting on for defense. So where your like spectre is when you're not inhabiting them, if someone steps that has like a radius around it, and if someone makes noise in that radius, an enemy, it gets a warning that it's in danger. So it almost acts like a trip, or sort of like a warning. So
It
if
gives you
you
extra
place it in
intel.
the right places, you can like essentially switch between them and use them as like spotting mechanics.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. 3v3 is a nice like amount for it.
And am I right in saying that there's no, not bloom? What's the word I'm looking for? Like, you
There's
can
no
run and
movement
gun.
penalty. Yeah, so there's
Yeah.
a different spray. Like if you aim down sight, it has kind of like what I would class as a CS spray pattern, like very set, very like pretty concise. If you hip fire, it's a lot more spread out and a bit more random, but I think it is still like a set pattern. But yeah, you can strafe left and right and you don't get any
You don't
penalty.
get punished.
If you
so it's
jump,
like, it's sort of more, it's more COD than CS and VAL.
yeah, it's like a
shooting
mix
sense.
between, because it's like if you jump, you get penalty and stuff.
Yeah.
But you can strafe side to side, which is nice. But yeah, it feels really good to play. It's a lot of fun. I've had it for like 3 days. I think the closed beta's been out.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's what I've been
One
playing.
we haven't yet mentioned, and I actually forgot to speak about it earlier, Splitgate 2.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's gonna...
you two have played the beta?
No, we've
I've signed up for the beta.
Right, okay.
We were watching it the other day. Was it yesterday when it came launched?
Yes. So they did the closed alpha for like their partners yesterday. And they were all like, yeah, stream this on Twitch, go. After doing the official gameplay reveal
Last week.
about a week before that.
Yeah.
It looks really good. It's still very much Splitgate. Like you look at it and you know it's Splitgate, but it is just getting the most out of that Unreal 5 engine. It looks pretty, it looks smooth. They've added some creature comforts of like modern arena FPSs with like the faction system and the character-based abilities. They've got loadouts, which seem to be more like an old school COD pick 10 system.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
that will appeal to a lot of people, I'm sure.
And also each faction has different sets of weapons.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it. We're all Splitgate fans here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we enjoyed the first one for our time with it, didn't we?
So I will be giving it a go for sure.
Oh yeah, I've signed up. Hopefully we get
I
some
am
of us
signing
get
up
in.
as we speak.
Yeah, just do it
I
on
could-
Steam.
For those who
yeah.
want to know, just go to their Steam page and you can sign up there.
Wishlist it
request
and
access.
request.
Yep.
I mean, from like it was kind of. I had like. I hate the people that do this, but like if you weren't there when they were like this wasn't a big game or like day one, but like you could tell that a lot of the people that got in the closed alpha, the creators that were obviously given codes, a lot of them hadn't played the first one.
I hadn't played the first one.
Which is fine, and like I'm glad that they're trying to get it out to a wider audience, but it's hard for like us that played to get a good enough comparison of like how it's evolved, because a lot of those creators don't really get how to do all the portaling yet.
They've just been sort of going around treating it as like a run and gun.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
it's more of a Halo at the minute, essentially, isn't it?
It was tough to gauge that. I saw one guy who obviously must have played the first one because he was in one of Scump's first games and was absolutely all over the map, and they were like, this guy's ridiculous. He's everywhere. Because he was understanding how to do that like triple portal, you know, where you would just step through a portal slightly, put another one and go back.
Yeah.
And you would bounce around.
Oh, but yeah.
He was thinking of portals.
So it seems that's still there. Be interesting to see how the map designs are. Hopefully they haven't taken away a lot of that like momentum stuff that you used to have to do to get into spots, because that was always fun and made it stand out a bit.
I've seen that time to kill looks a lot faster.
It is so much faster, and also all of the guns seem fully auto now, which wasn't the case previously. The gun that like the two
I think there
options
is a-
previously was like a battle rifle, which was
Yeah.
like a Halo triple burst, and then you had like the single shot fire, a bit more powerful like battle rifle, not battle rifle, like
There,
long
there is
rifle.
some other guns like that. I think it's just every class has like an option of those between those three, like a full auto and stuff. So obviously, a lot of people just take the full auto because that's the kind of easiest to use. It looks good.
Yeah, Time to Kill is one of them ones where it's always difficult to get a real feel for it until you play it.
Yeah, watching people
But
like
it is fast.
obviously we're watching like big streamers at the minute, like Timmy for example. He's hitting every shot.
Yeah,
We're
they're
not going to be
cracked.
killing people that fast, you know.
Also,
what I mean?
I said it to Con. I was like, when people like when the Splitgate pros are the ones that know how to do all the portal and get it, that maneuverability might make it not feel as quick. Because if you're having to chase someone through portals, you're not going to be able to hit them like so consistently.
One thing I did notice from people who definitely did play the first Splitgate was trying to like camp with a portal up really high, hiding somewhere, and just shooting through the portal is not as easy now. Because they've added like a ripply effect to the portal, so you can still see what's happening through the other side. But it's not as easy to just use that to gun people.
I think they've also, from what I've seen on some of those maps, there's not really many spots to do that with like a portal hidden up really high. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Because we played a lot of the sort of ranked arena mode where it was the small, tight space
you
maps,
moved, you had to
everywhere.
port everywhere.
That we had a really good time playing.
Yeah.
We put I want to say quite a few hours into
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So fingers crossed, maybe this could be one that we get into.
I'm on a PC setup now. I'm ready to take some names.
I just remember the
That's a bold
baseball
claim.
bat and just
just go around. Boom,
yeah, it was so funny. But yeah.
Awesome.
What have I been playing?
Yeah, what have you been
Assassin's Con, I'm with you. Assassin's Creed. Despite having God knows how many games on my backlog, I saw someone platinum Assassin's Creed 2, I want to say, on YouTube. So that was it. As you know, I'm a big trophy hunter. Yeah, I downloaded the Ezio collection, which is free on PlayStation Extra. I have platinumed Assassin's Creed 2. I have 4 or 5 trophies left on Brotherhood. They're all collectible ones, so it's a bit grindy at the minute. I finished the story day before yesterday. So yeah, get in there and then I'll have to play Revelations. And then once I've platinumed the whole trilogy, I'm having a break from Assassin's Creed. I've already had enough of Brotherhood. So that's what I'll play next. It depends how long it takes, I suppose. We got just over 2 weeks now till Star Wars Outlaws, so
yeah,
it's come around so quick, and it's crazy.
Crazy ones.
I should have seen that coming.
You should.
Mixing it up today a little bit.
Yeah.
As it has been a little bit quieter since the last episode, we only had that 3-week gap. Instead of doing a topic and a discussion of the episode, I have prepared a quiz for the pair of you, as well as the audience. Feel free to join in, play, comment your answers down below, how many you got right out of 10, etc., etc. I'm going to read the questions. I'm going to read the question, repeat it. I'm going to give you 10-15 seconds or so to answer the question. You're both going to either show me or read out your answer, and then I'm going to tell you the answer, and then hopefully you two can keep a score of yourselves.
Cool.
And
I'll do it on my phone.
Yeah.
I think that'll be the easiest.
Let me know when you have pen, paper, technology at the ready.
Yeah, because I am someone who should be handwriting stuff because it'll be so readable.
Yeah.
I don't think I've handwritten 2 days in a row since year 11. Because through my A-levels, I just used a laptop. So what? It's been like 9 years?
That's outrageous.
Right, I'm
Right,
ready.
Con, you ready?
Let me just pull up the answers you sent me earlier.
Yeah. We said before the episode started, Con, that I was going to give her a rundown.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm competitive as fuck, so that would drive me crazy.
Yeah, when you were just gone before we started, I was like, right, Josh, look at the answers.
You try to bait me into a Brennan Lee Mulligan. I cannot win. Meltdown.
Right, made the questions myself. So I looked at some quizzes and I thought they were some of the questions were so easy. So I've tried to mix it up.
Oh, fuck.
Some general knowledge ones, some that would appeal to us because obviously I know
Let me
us
just
three quite well.
Mute my mic so you can't hear me typing into Google.
No cheating. That's why I'm giving 10 to 15 seconds.
If
Right,
you hear me typing, that is just me writing my answer.
Right, we're gonna go question 1. There's no multiple choice except question 10, by the way.
Okay.
Right, the first one. In what year was the Xbox 360 released? Xbox 360 year of release. Oh, you're so deep in 4.
Yeah,
I
because
really
I
am.
got it like on release.
Yeah.
But how old was I?
Right, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds.
Are we going closest gets the point? If
Yeah, we'll
Okay,
do it
I've
closest
got
gets
my
the point.
answer.
okay. Okay. Are we
I
going?
feel like
Are
I'm
we
Actually,
going to
no, we won't
alternate?
because you're both gonna give your score out of 10 at the end. So if
Okay.
you get it wrong, you get it wrong. No point.
Okay.
Con.
2005.
Hori.
I went 2008.
2005 is the correct answer.
Damn.
Con. You
Come
are 1 point up.
on.
Hori,
Maybe I
you
was
should have known
younger
your
than I.
old.
Yeah, but I was trying to guess what age I was, but I can't remember what age I was.
A good way to, when I was thinking about it, I was thinking what games were on 360 and sort of trying to work backwards. I was doing it with Call of Duties in my head. I was like, what Call of Duties were on 360?
Now I think about it, yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
2008 is quite late.
The first Xbox got announced in like '99, and the first Xbox wasn't around for that long.
No, but I remember that fondly.
That's a stinker.
Because you're
So
old.
Con's 1 point up. Hori,
Ooh.
0 and 1 to start. That's not very
No,
good.
no,
for you.
no.
Probably will
ideal.
never live this down because I am competitive as fuck.
I'm old. I can blame it on my memory.
I'm so old.
Question 2. Which gaming franchise is the iconic protagonist Leon Kennedy from?
I don't need 15 seconds.
I'm so bad with character names.
There's no way Hori doesn't know this.
I probably
Unless
don't.
I've baited
Which
myself
gaming
here.
franchise is the iconic protagonist Leon Kennedy from?
Nah, I've got to be right here. I'm not going to double guess myself.
Give you 5 seconds, Hori. Con's confident.
Hori's going first so he doesn't steal my answer.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Right, Hori, you're up.
Resident Evil.
Con.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil is
I
the
actually
correct answer.
okay.
Yeah.
I
you
was
pulled that out
so
of thin air, or-
unconfident with that. I was like, I had a few in my head, but I was like, fuck it, Resident Evil, because that's the one franchise I know the least. So that would make sense why I struggled.
When Hori was that like unsure, I was like, "Fuck, is it not Resident
Is it
Evil?
not that? Is it too obvious? No,
I had to think like
brilliant.
which franchises I didn't know that well.
I was thinking in my head, I didn't know how well either of you knew Resident Evil, and then Con got it so quick.
Yeah, that made me so worried.
I never played Resident Evil other than one Halloween stream of Resident Evil Village. But I love rewatching horror streams and horror playthroughs of other YouTubers. And Resident Evil is a game that comes up a lot.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Unbelievable game. Right, this one. Hopefully you're Pokemon fans. If you're not going to do very well. I know you like Power World, so... Right. Pokemon Gen 1, as you'll famously know, has 151 Pokemon in the Pokedex. But what is number 1?
Oh.
What is hashtag number 1 in the Gen 1 Pokedex?
I
The
need
10
to
to
I
15
need to
seconds.
use Pokemon Go now.
Shit.
I think I know it.
Number 1.
I think
I
I
love
know.
seeing your face is so deep in 4.
Oh, fuck.
I think Gen 1,
Yeah.
number 1.
I think I know.
I'll give
I'm
you
not
5 more
confident,
seconds.
but I think I know.
Fuck.
Right, Horror, I'm going to let you go first because you seem more unsure.
Bulbasaur.
And Con?
I think it's Weedle.
Hori takes the point. Bulbasaur is the correct answer.
I was like, I know it's a
thought the
starter.
starter three
It's
was.
the
I thought the starter three were bait ones, and it was like the
So-
shitty like Rattata and Pidgey and Weedle were at the start. Fuck.
No.
No, because it's like starter their evolutions, starter their evolutions. So it's
Yeah.
which starter is the first one.
Balls.
Yeah, you got Bulbasaur evolutions 1 to 3, Charmander to Charizard 4 to 6, and Squirtle.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was Bulbasaur or Charmander first.
Alphabetical order of the starters makes sense.
Weedlecon, which you suggested, is number 13 in the
Yeah, I was
Pokédex.
like, Weedle's way down. My other thought was if it wasn't
Way
starter.
down. You got 9 for the starters. It's like the second.
Yeah, way
active
down.
Pokemon.
If it hadn't been a starter, my guess would have been like Mew or Mewtwo, but I think that's way. further.
They're the
Right,
last two.
last
Are they the last
150
two?
and 151. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Son of
So,
a bitch.
Add up your points to your tallies at the minute.
Yep.
We're throwing it back with this question. So, Hori, as you're
Oh.
rolled, you might be better
Oh,
suited.
that's not
Yeah.
helped me so far.
For question 4, we got how many fruit were in the original Pac-Man game?
Oh shit.
How many fruit?
I literally have played an original Pac-Man machine in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, there you go. You got 10, 15
I
seconds.
was blackout drunk, but still.
How many fruit were in the original Pac-Man games?
Oh, I'm just taking a random guess here.
Right, Con will
Like,
go with
make
you
it
first
so
this
you
time.
can grab the ghost, right? I'm not being a dumbass.
Hmm?
Fruit
Yeah,
are the ones that turn the ghosts. I'm going 5.
I'm going 3.
I think it's actually 4.
Yeah, it's just in the middle. I can confirm one of you have got it right.
Oh.
The correct answer is 5.
It's like 1 in each of the corners and then 1
Yeah,
right
when
near where
you
they
said
spawn.
5, and I was like, that fits the board.
I'm just double checking what they are. I believe it is cherry, strawberry, orange, apple.
Those are the 3 that I was like, I could
And
remember. It's like
melon?
cherry.
I'm pretty sure.
It's really funny because in my head I was just trying to see the board and see where the fruits were on the
Oh,
machine.
I was I could remember 3 of the fruits. And I was like, well, I can't remember anymore. Fuck it, we go with 3.
Back in the lead, motherfucker.
But no, 5 is indeed the correct answer. Speaking of 5, question 5. As of today's date, we are recording on the 15th of August. What is the highest selling console of all time?
Oh. Beep. I'd like to call time.
Hori, I will give you an allotted time frame.
Oh, wait. Have I just tricked myself? No. No.
What is the highest selling console of all time as of today's date?
Okay, I have an answer.
Hori, we'll go for you first then.
I'm just going to go with the PS5.
PS5. Con?
Okay. I'm going to say PS2, but I'm going to be fuming if the answer's the Nintendo Switch because I feel like I saw an article like 3 days ago saying it was the Nintendo Switch, but I don't know if it's like going to become the Nintendo Switch in a couple of weeks. I'm looking in PS2 though.
Locking in PS2. Hori, locking in PS5.
Yeah.
I'm afraid Con's got it right again. PS2 is the correct answer. With over, as of today's date, it's estimated over 155 million
Yeah,
consoles.
PS2 generational numbers.
I just
quite
was like,
literally.
oh, the old ones. There's like gaming's way more popular now, so I'm like, oh, the modern ones surely have sold more. But
Con, you are right. Switch is currently number 3, just behind the DS.
And it's on course to like overtake the PlayStation in the
100%.
next year,
when
isn't it?
When the Switch 2 comes out, if that's going to count as the same, depending on what they do, it will definitely overtake, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's why I was second guessing myself because I saw an article or something like this week. I was like, has it already happened or are they just predicting it's going to happen?
Yep. Hori, you need to
yeah,
your acting gear, mate.
struggling.
You let everyone down.
That's why he's the good looks, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm just a
I'm
brain.
fine with that.
That is halfway through the quiz. Comments, let us know how you're getting on out of 5. Boys, what are you on at the minute?
4.
4 and 2. What one did you get wrong?
I got the Pokemon one
The
wrong.
Pokemon, right? Yep.
Yeah, I
Valid,
got the Pokemon one right, so that's all that matters.
Horry's the alpha confirmed.
Between us, we'll get them all right.
Starting the second half, question 6. Mario is arguably one of the most iconic figures in video game history. But what was his original name for Mario?
Oh,
What was Mario's original name?
I think I have the answer.
Give Con.
I
10
have
seconds.
an answer. I think it's the.
I also have an answer, but I'm certain it's wrong.
As Horry's the more confident, Con, we'll go with you first.
Jumpman.
Jumpman. And Horry?
I also have Jumpman.
Jumpman is the correct answer. That is great
Holy
game of knowledge
shit!
from the very there. What was your train of thought for going for that one, Con?
I feel like I remember reading somewhere once upon a time, ADHD brain go brr, that before they decided to give him like a name and a personality, because it was just so 80s, they were just going to call it like Jumpman. And then they're like, no, let's give him a name and something. And so like Super Mario. Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't believe I was right there.
I was pretty confident because I remember hearing that in the past and it being like, oh, it's the most like bug obvious like
Yeah.
I
name
think it
it
was
could
from
be.
the original Donkey Kong game. They just
Yeah.
called it Jumpman.
I was so unconfident. Then Holly went, I also have Jumpman. I was like, holy shit, I pulled this off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well in. Jumpman
I was
indeed the
so
correct
ready for you
answer.
to say something wild.
Yeah. No, Jumpman, fair play. Here's one suiting to how we all met. Call of Duty.
Okay.
Question 7. Which gun has appeared in the most Call of Duty titles?
Oh,
gun?
surely.
Has appeared in the most Call of Duty games.
Is just to clarify, is this the gun model or the gun by name?
gotta be
Because
gun
in
by
recent
name,
games
right?
based on
gun by
California,
name.
okay, because based on recent laws in California, that's why COD can't use actual gun names anymore.
Oh.
That's why they have fake names. Fun
Yeah,
fact for
we'll
you.
go actual gun names.
Okay, cool.
I'm pretty sure that's what
then.
I've got written down anyway. Harry will give you 5 more seconds.
I'm torn.
I think it's blindingly obvious, and if it's not the blindingly obvious answer, I can live with it.
Right,
Yeah,
Ori.
see, this is why I think
You're
it's too
less
obvious.
confident, so you're up first. What's your answer?
Okay, I'm gonna go AK-47.
AK-47?
I also think it's the AK-47.
AK-47
It's gonna be like
is not the right answer. It's number
M16.
3. So AK-47.
Can I tell you my second option, even though I won't get the
goes
point?
2. Yep.
MP5.
I had M16, but MP5's a really good shout.
M4 is number
Oh,
2.
it was M4.
Really?
Okay. I was like, I feel like the M4's got renamed as different things. Like the main ACR, like the main AR has not always been an M4. But
and then with the AK, you got like the AN, the KN. But then
True.
I
Yeah.
think they all fall under the same thing. This one, you got to think sidearm. The gun is the M1911, just like the starter pistol.
Of course.
that was another thought that went from my head. Like, I was like, is it a pistol?
Mm-hmm.
There's a real chance it could have just been revolver, because like
See, I nearly, if I was to go pistol, I would have guessed Glock, but I was
Yeah.
like, surely not,
had a
because
Glock
Glock's,
in my Rari.
yeah.
But yeah, M1911 is now,
should've-
with the most
should've
recent
known.
one, been in over 15 different CODs.
Christ
It's been in like
alive.
over
Crazy,
probably
yeah.
100 FPSs.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? But yeah, M1911, so neither of you get a point for that one.
Damn.
Boo.
Any COD
Five.
fans, let us know if you got that one right. I'll be intrigued to see, because a lot of people online, when on a Reddit page, said M4 or AK, like
Yeah,
yourselves,
absolutely. It's not an FPS if there isn't an AK in it. Simple.
pretty much. Right, question 8. Sort of leaning towards a different genre within gaming. We're going to go esports.
Okay.
Which esport event has had the highest concurrent viewership? And you've got to tell me the event and the year.
Oh, and the year?
And the year.
Mm-hmm. Because obviously, like, it's just a bit vague otherwise, isn't it? So
and is it just an official? It's not like a content creator hosted event.
No, an
just
official
like
esport
okay.
event. Yep. Which esport event has had the highest concurrent viewership? I need the event and the year.
I'm ready.
Hori, I'll give you another 5-10 seconds.
Oh fuck! I've got 2 options, and I'm trying to remember if one out
Hori,
did the other one.
Hori is the esports dude. He should know this more than me.
Yeah, but it's been so. There was
No,
one.
I'm saying that for the viewers, so they know.
Oh,
that
there
I
was
get
one
this and you
dominating
don't
for
think you
ages,
don't.
and I'm sure one overtook it.
Well, as Con's more
I've got-
confident,
right,
Hori,
I've
you're gonna open the floor for us on this one.
I'm gonna go with VCT Champs 2023.
VCT champs to confirm that's Valorant champs.
Yeah,
of
Valorant
last year,
Champs last year,
2023. And Con,
I'm gonna go for the Dota Grand Finals. I don't know what their final tournament of the year is called.
He hasn't
In
named it.
22.
what year?
22. Is it 21? Don't tell me it's 21.
It's not even Dota. I was baiting you in
Okay.
there. I saw your face getting all excited. Hori, I thought you might have possibly got this one. League of Legends Worlds last year.
Or was it
2023.
League
Oh,
of
it's
Legends?
League last year that topped it.
Yep.
So it has been Dota International has always been the number one for
Yeah,
ages.
that was all I've known about.
And
Dota. I
that's
don't
what
know
I'm
anyone who
like, and I
Plays
c-
the game.
I know something topped it, and I had in my head it was Valorant, but it was obviously Worlds.
No, last year
I
it
should
broke
have
the
known
record.
it was Worlds.
It peaked at 6.4 million
Yeah.
viewers.
Fucking hell.
I remember watching it and it being like, oh shit, this is now the number one ever.
Yeah, I think we spoke about it. Obviously, this was last
Yeah.
year.
Blood watched it and forgot.
Yeah, the problem is it's all Riot, and I know Riot's been dominating, and it's just
You know, there's people screaming in the comments.
Yeah.
It's livid.
they're
so
all
obvious.
like Valorant. No chance.
Right, only 2 questions left, and this is the last non-multiple choice.
Okay.
Question 9: Which of these 2 games came out first? Call of Duty 4 or Halo 3? Which came out first? COD 4 or Halo 3? You've got 10 seconds. God, the concentration of working out in your heads.
I've got an answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Con, we'll start with you this time.
I think it's COD 4.
I have Halo 3.
Oh, I love a split. If you had picked the same one, it would have been so boring. So, Con, you have picked COD, and Ahori has picked Halo.
Mm-hmm.
The comeback is on because the answer was Halo.
Oh,
The
I
Xbox
hate it.
360 launched with Halo.
It's funny
Do you
say
know what
that.
it was?
They
I
came
was
out
thinking-
2 months apart.
Yeah. In my head, I was thinking World at War came out alongside like Halo 2, not
So-
COD 4 came out alongside like Halo 2, not Halo 3. I thought Halo 3 was competing with later COD
I
titles.
remember because the summer I got my Xbox was the summer COD had come out. Oh no, sorry, COD had come out that just before, so there was none in stock, and I had to wait for it. Whereas Halo, then that year after I got my Xbox is when they brought out ODST, and the ODST used to have Halo 3 multiplayer with all the extras. So that's how I know.
Probably so old he had to worry about
Yeah,
stock.
Halo 3 came out September 2007.
Fuming.
COD 4 came out November 2007. So literally 2 months.
Yeah,
2
and
months in between.
it's also Microsoft, so of course they're going to launch with Halo.
Right. 1 question left. What are the current scores on the doors?
5 out of 9.
4.
Oh,
He can't beat me. He
I can
can't
tie it up,
beat
though.
me.
He can tie it up, and I will find a tiebreaker question. Right, question 10. This one's multiple choice. Chun-Li is a character from which famous fighting game franchise?
I'm good. Lock it in. I want to put the pressure.
Oh,
on
what?
Corey
We've
here.
got multiple choice though.
Tekken
Oh. Wait, can I
Street
get bonus
Fighter
points if I are?
or Mortal Kombat?
I want bonus points.
What,
for
what
knowing
was the
before.
second option there?
We got Tekken, Street Fighter, or
Okay.
Mortal Kombat.
Just checking the one I had down is on the list.
Imagine you're so confident you say it with your chest. Right,
Um,
both seem pretty
Yeah,
confident.
we can say this probably at the same time. 3,
This is gonna be
2,
awkward.
1. Street Fighter.
Okay. I was so ready to say something different and be like, oh no.
It was one where I wanted to put a fighting game question in because predominantly we're not fighting game
Yeah, no,
people.
we're not. But
I feel like
Chun-Li is
Chun-Li
so
is
iconic.
quite an iconic character. that I thought I'd
Yeah,
go
and
for anyway.
I've played a decent amount of more combat, so I knew like it's easy that it wasn't that.
Like process of elimination.
Yeah.
Right, so final scores on doors. I believe Con, you got 5 out of 10, 50%.
6 out of 10.
He got
6
6
out
because
of
he got
10.
the last one. I got 5.
Oh, so it was close.
I needed him to get that last one wrong.
What I want you to do
the
is use
undisputed.
note down these scores. I think we could make a run-in segment out of
Yeah.
video game quizzes, even if it's say 3 or 5 episodes at the end of it, questions at the end of each episode, and then sort of at the end of the season of cutscene, we'll tally them up, see who has the best gaming knowledge.
Yeah, it's going to be me. Because if I know this is coming up, I'm going to pay so much more attention to shit I see in the news.
Josh is going to have to go deep into
Yeah,
some like.
Yeah.
Some of the
Oh.
questions as it goes on, like
It's going to be like, what is the name of this obscure side character in this obscure game?
What was the first game that required over a gigabyte of in-game memory?
To be fair, that's an unreal question. But no, that is the cutscene quiz, episode 1.
That was good.
Done. Let us know
Awesome.
how you got on down below.
I got
These
the
two got
Pokemon wrong,
6.
right? I'm happy with that. If I got
You
that
are
wrong,
the
I would have been
Pokemon
very
gamer.
disappointed in myself.
Right. Awesome.
Love
Thank you so much, Josh, and we'll catch you in a
Appreciate
bit,
it.
buddy.
No worries. Catch you next month.
Awesome. And as champion, I will get us moving on into the Nerd News Network. The one gamer to rule them all, so to
Yeah,
speak.
but at least I know my Pokemon, so.
We got a new Rings of Power trailer. Much
We
more focused on
did.
Sauron. Lots of screen time for our
Yes.
boy.
Looked very interesting. There was so many things shown. Like, so there's obviously we know the rings are going to get made next. Like that's the next big part of the story. It seems to show a lot of this kind of realization of the power these rings hold, how corrupting it is. Obviously, going to start corrupting different people. We know Moria is going to fall this season, and the Balrog's going to escape.
Yeah.
Sauron's obviously manipulating things to get the rings made. We had that dark elf guy that I think we realized in season 1 was and I think if I remember correctly, he was a fresh character for the show.
Yes.
Seems like he's going to team up with Galadriel to fight Sauron, which is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Because we were under the impression he was working for Sauron this entire time.
I think it's a case of Sauron's like, or he's trying to double cross Sauron or something. I don't know. We've seen there's some new treants get teased in the trailer. We're gonna see. Obviously, Gandalf's character, who is yet to be named Gandalf, is obviously going to go off to see the wizards. I'm not even sure if there's a split moment where it shows Saruman, but young.
Oh, maybe.
Because he comes after Gandalf in like appearing on Middle Earth, if I remember correctly. But yeah, lots of action, lots of cool things. I'm looking forward to it. Well,
no update on our Hobbit friends.
So all we know about the Hobbits, really, and I don't think we're going to see much of the Hobbits that were left behind. The young girl, Kiri was her name? I'm forgetting now.
Yeah.
Who helped Gandalf. Obviously, she's going to be with him. But maybe we get a thing later on when she goes back home.
Yeah.
If she makes it back home. Presume she does.
Again, this one of them worlds I don't know a lot about. It looked fun as fuck. I'm well excited. I enjoyed the first season of Ring of Power so much. I'm really excited for season 2. It feels like it's coming at the right time.
We're going to get a lot of action. Now I'm thinking about it, I'm sure there was a moment in the trailer where you see spiders, which would be oh my god, I'm forgetting her name.
The big spider demigod that's like, because I remember reading about like the tiers of beings.
She's crazy powerful.
She's like the same tier as like Sauron, isn't she?
Yeah.
And that's why Sauron can't really fight her.
That's my god, so annoyed.
And like, it's a legitimate risk for Sauron to fight her because like may die.
Yeah, they're on the side. It's not worth it. And then actually, she is like the best gatekeeper for his back door he could ask for.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he doesn't expect a hobbit to kill her.
Yeah. I saw someone, because as it always happens to someone like this happens, you get a lot of the fandom on Twitter just telling their favourite stories. It's it's really funny because outside people who've interacted with hobbits, all the stories you hear about hobbits, because they basically don't really exist to normal people, is they just pop up, kill basically a god, and then disappear. You would be terrified of a hobbit.
Yeah,
If
the folk
if you
tales,
even believed they existed, you'd be terrified.
the folk
And if
tales of
not,
hobbits,
you'd think they're a myth.
You can see now, like the near enough towns that know of the hobbits, but they're like, oh, they're those weird folk that live in the hills, but no, they're like harmless. Someone will come into town and be like, wait, the hobbits live near here? They're those people that are like crazy dangerous, and they'll just be like, what are you on about? But yeah, it's
So funny.
I'm looking forward to it. I know there's going to be plenty of people that are going to be like, they're still ruining it, but just enjoy being in Middle Earth. Like
if you're just going to complain every week, don't watch it.
Yeah,
Save yourself the headache and save us the headache.
If it bothers you, it's different to the book. Either get your head around the fact that like this is a alternate telling of this story, and be okay with the like understand that like this is not trying to be faithful. Just enjoy being Middle Earth, or like you say, stop watching it, stop complaining every week.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now time for us to complain about something. This Craven trailer.
Do you know what's funny? So obviously the news came out that there was a ton of reshoots and a ton of restructuring, and it's now a really compelling story and whatnot. I think they've shown us basically the whole story in the trailer, and they've already shown us all the coolest moments.
And once again, it seems like they're playing around with this idea that he's a hunter naturally, but he doesn't like hurting people. Which is not Craven. Craven's entire deal is, I want to prove that I am the most dominant species of all because I can hunt anything. And he gets bored of hunting animals, so he starts hunting the rhino and Spider-Man and the lizard. Like, that's his entire... Craven is an incredibly well-written and complex character, but he's also very simple to do an okay version of. Because the entire idea is he's a trophy hunter.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to make it, oh, I'm angry at Daddy? No, fuck off. I don't dislike the idea of Rhino being in this film. I dislike the design they've done of Rhino. I don't dislike the idea of Craven finding out about this dude who is a rhino and being like, I must hunt him. That can work. I'm angry at Daddy. I'm angry at Russell Crowe doing a really weird Russian accent. No.
Do you know what I think is going to happen, though? I think the rhino thing's going to be like right near the end. And it's going to be like, oh my god, now he knows he's going to start hunting these heroes.
So apparently Rhino was never supposed to be in this film. Apparently he was supposed to be an end cutscene tease.
Oh, there's a surprise. That's part of the reshoots
and they've reworked it with reshoots to bring
because
him
everyone
into the main
mocked
story.
the original trailer.
Yes. As I said, it seems like if they would have made this a film called The Hunter...
Yeah, it would have been a sick action film.
And they just sold it on being an action film instead of trying to do a Spider-Man villain film without Spider-Man, I probably would be at least like a little bit curious. But because I care about the characters, and don't get me wrong, like, you know, I'm big on you need to allow adaptations of characters to take place.
Yeah,
yes,
but there's adaptations, and then there's just this might as well just be a
fundamentally
what
changing
if.
the core. Yeah, fundamentally changing the core of the character is fucking insane. Now, there's a number of different ways Rhino's been done. My personal preference is he's a mob enforcer who gets stuck in a really tough suit. That is very 60s. Guess what? It fucking works, though. Why are we doing the genetic mutation bullshit thing?
Yeah, here's the thing, right?
They should, if they want to do that style, just make him the lizard.
Yeah, like either you have him in like the classic looking suit, where it's quite clearly a suit, and not what they seem to have done is like, oh, it's like he's in the classic suit with like the style of it, but it's just him, because it's like the face where it would normally be like obviously a suit face and would look okay, yeah, it looks a bit goofy, but it's a guy in a suit. Now it's just like that just looks goofy. Or to avoid that, it is not as cool, but like we've had the mechanical Rhino where it's like a robotic suit. Just stick with that because it's a bit safer. Like,
I would much rather it be a suit. Yes, the mechanical suit I'd have my own issues with because the one they did in Amazing Spider-Man has soured me on the idea forever. But that's still better than, in my opinion, the genetic bullshit. Because we already have a Spider-Man villain who is genetically altered to be like a different animal.
yeah.
Um,
Have you seen though that from this trailer, the Twitterverse at least are finally realizing what Sony's doing. They're finally like seeing this trailer and going, "Oh, Sony's just doesn't care," and they're putting out all these like A-tier Spider-Man villain films, but just shoddy and don't care purely because they want to hold on to the license. They're like, suddenly it's clicked that they're like, oh, Sony's just doing this because they don't want to give Marvel the license. And also there's a theory that because Sony's using these characters, it then doesn't allow Marvel to use them.
so there is rumours, although completely unconfirmed as always, that based on the contract they have with Marvel, if they're developing
be
a film
overlap.
about someone, there can't be overlap without it being discussed, at which point Sony would get a cut of the film. Because
Yeah.
as you know, the Spider-Man films that are in the MCU, all the legwork is done by Disney, but it's paid for and the profits go to Sony. So, post-Endgame, Disney's biggest success is Deadpool and Wolverine, despite Spider-Man No Way Home being the biggest MCU film, because that was a Sony film. Sony get all the money from that.
Yeah.
So the idea is they start developing these films to try and bait Marvel into paying them to do it instead, and then they get to still claim all the money and Marvel will do the hard work, or they'll just go through and then they'll butcher the character a little bit because it doesn't hurt them.
Yeah, they
and the crazy thing is,
to keep the
there are
license.
people inside the Sony ecosphere who know how to do a good Kraven. Because guess what? They fucking did a good Kraven in Spider-Man 2. And what was his entire motivation? I'm bored of hunting. Let's go to New York where there's all these freaky things that I can hunt. Like, that is literally all it needs to be if you don't want to go, like, more in depth into, like, the psychological side of Kraven. You can literally just make it cool. Rhino, lizard. Fuck it, you could even do an Ultimate Universe version of Green Goblin where he's an actual giant fucking goblin. And you just go, Kraven wants to hunt him. Make that the film.
Yeah. I think I'm glad that some of the social media sphere are starting to realize what Sony's doing. But unfortunately, like I think unless, like you've said in the past, Marvel gets to a point where they feel like they can say you're damaging our IP stuff, it's just not going to stop until this license actually gets to the end of its timeline, which I don't know when that is.
What license?
The rights or whatever.
Sony own the rights outright. There isn't an agreement. They own the rights.
Surely there's got to be an end date on it.
No,
even if it's ridiculous.
The only way they revert back is if Sony doesn't do anything with them for like 10 years.
When does Sony Spider-Man rights expire? Let's see. Oh, it's if they don't release the movie within 5 years. And 9 months. What a specific amount of time.
So yeah, they will always hold on to them.
There's got to be like.
We will not get Spider-Man back fully under Marvel control until 2064 when he becomes public domain.
MCU will be long gone by then, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's really funny because in like less than 100 years, Marvel and DC are genuinely in trouble.
It's
because they have to keep adapting and changing the characters a little bit to like reset that 100 year. But then what, like in like 70 years. By like the 2090s, you're gonna have access to like legit versions of Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men. Then what? Crazy.
It's wild.
Deadpool and Wolverine has crossed a Billy.
Yes.
A cool billion with a B.
Yes, they put a post out.
A lot of fucking money.
Yes.
I'm not surprised.
No.
The film's good.
We called it straight away that it was going to happen, and
yeah, I thought it was going to happen even if it wasn't as good as it was, just because of name value.
Yeah.
And then it's absolutely just blown that out of the water.
I
believe the current projection is it will finish at like 1.3, 1.4.
I'm loving all the Channing Tatum's obviously for whatever reason on a few red carpets recently for different things, and like I'm loving the constant questions of like how's it been to play Gambit, and he's just like I just felt like I got to be a kid and got to play this character that I wanted to play for you. He's had the best time.
He literally said in an interview he would kill kittens to get to play Gambit again. Like, that's a direct quote. He's like, I'd do some horrible things to be able to play Gambit again. I'd kill kittens.
As much as I would love for him to get that chance to play him again, I also don't think he should.
I don't think he should either. The problem is, people loved him. Rightly so. He did an amazing job. The film made a fuck ton of money, and he is campaigning hard for it, as well as fans. That's enough needle moving to make someone listen. But I agree. We
here's
should go.
The thing.
When it comes to the X-Men, I want all of them, other than maybe a Professor X, to be unknown. I want them to go to Louisiana, find someone who actually speaks with a natural Cajun accent, even though he nailed it, and just.
I know this guy.
Hey, you.
Won't. But the guy that I sent you the TikTok of that does alligator tours in Florida or whatever, can he be it? Because he's everyone on his fucking TikToks constantly talking about Gambit.
It's really funny because I've never heard a proper Cajun accent.
No,
so
I've only ever experienced it through Gambit.
Yeah, so like I've always just kind of taken X-Men 97 as face value. That's perfect because what else can I do? Obviously, Channing's was a bit different, but it was still similar. I was like, it sounds like he's done a pretty good job there. Yeah. Then I just went on TikTok and saw a bunch of people like, that was shit. And then you just have people going, I literally have lived in Louisiana.
He sounds like my uncle.
It's like, yeah, I know 12 people who sound like that. He's fucking nailed it. He's done a really good job of that. It was so weird hearing. And like people going, could anyone not understand him? That's crazy. I understood every fucking word he said. Yes, it was a thick accent, but I understood him. And they're like, no, he was like, did a really good job. He fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want him to be like someone there to help the actor they do get.
Do you know?
So I think instill that passion.
You've also got to think though, by the time we're gonna get the X-Men, yes,
Channing Tatum's already like 45.
Don't get me wrong. He's one of these celebs that's probably gonna look great forever, but.
Oh my god, he's actually 44. Yeah.
But like we're gonna want a younger Gambit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Speaking of Spider-Man.
Yes. I'm never gonna forgive Sony, I don't think. Sony film, not animated, not games, Sony film might forever sit in the blackest part of my heart. So there are rumours suggesting that Spider-Man 4 may no longer be a grounded story with Kingpin as the antagonist, as once was assumed, and could be a multiverse story, or just a larger, big picture story again. So we reported previously that the debate between Sony and Disney were timeline and story.
Yes.
And Sony were like, well, it either has to be a big multiverse story or it needs to be out by 2025, I think. And Disney were like, we would like 2026 and we would like grounded. And they're like, well, you can have one. And it seems like Spider-Man's now coming in 2026, which I think means they appear to have given up a little bit on the story side of it. I still think they'll make it work.
Yeah,
But as I said to Horry in Twitter DMs, I just want my friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
yeah. The rumor or idea now is that he will go off to uni or whatever, college, and gonna end up. It's gonna be they're gonna have to go with like, how do they handle this issue now that people have forgotten who he is with their bigger MCU characters or some like they're gonna come up with something like that, or maybe the TVA gets involved because he fucked around with the timeline essentially.
I really don't know, but
It's a shame.
like,
I
don't get me
think,
wrong, I do still think it will be good.
yeah.
But I was really excited for Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin up against Spider-Man.
Well, just think we were gonna have Daredevil dealing with Kingpin and all that gets up. You could have then had the next Spider-Man film also like you could have had Daredevil get included in that and like could have had some really fun stuff. And I do think like it will go down when like the MCU is looked back on because the MCU's not gonna. I'd be shocked if this runs indefinitely. There's gonna come an end,
Insane.
but like it's gonna be looked back on like the MCU for comic book fans was almost perfect if they just had Spider-Man. Like they were so like on a leash on that side of the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
And everyone will look at Sony and just be like, you ruined what could have been the greatest like era of comic films.
Yeah, it's purely that thing they had to sell the Spider-Man rights because
They needed the money.
They needed to try and stay alive, and it just got screwed. I really wish Michael Jackson bought the rights because God rest his soul, he would have passed away,
And they would have gone
they
back.
would have reverted back to Marvel.
Yep.
Just is what it is. Now this is fucking crazy, like genuinely
Yeah.
batshit insane. And before I start, I have read, Hurry, that me and you are safe from this because this kind of clause is illegal in the UK.
Interesting.
So, a man is currently suing Disney for his wife who passed away due to an allergic reaction at a Disney venue. It wasn't Disney World, it was something else, Disney Springs or something. And Disney lawyers are trying to get the case thrown out. I'm sorry, not thrown out.
No.
They're trying to get it thrown out of court, but they're trying to put it into arbitration. Which is where where you have to like talk to them before it goes to court, because he signed up for the free trial of Disney Plus 2 years previously.
Yeah, so my understanding from what I've seen of other stuff, people explain it. So the wife had a severe allergy, made it very clear to the restaurant. The restaurant made it very clear that yes, we have taken all these precautions, to which then the wife went into anaphylactic shock and passed away. He is obviously now suing them. The way I saw, like some obviously people creators that are like lawyer, like knowledgeable. One of them was like, I can guarantee this was an intern at the law firm who stumbled across, oh, this happened in this case, and thinks this is like, oh my god, I found gold for my like bosses. This is great for this, but this
is a promotion waiting to happen.
But for the public perception, this is like the worst opportunity that you could have done this. Like this was the worst case to do this on. But yeah, they're trying to.
Like, have you seen all the memes of like, you know, the woman who's been on Joe Rogan and she talks about North Korea, but people aren't convinced she really knows what she's talking about because she says some outlandish things. And what people do is they meme her, but like in England, you can't tweet without being arrested because people being arrested for tweeting racially insensitive things. And people like in America, Disney can legally kill your wife.
So the terms and conditions is if you sue Disney, it has to go through mediation or whatever the term is. Which basically, yeah, like you said, you sit down and you discuss it and basically settle in a room with someone that sits over and mediates it.
Yeah.
And it has to go through that before it can even go into court or anything. And they're obviously trying to do that because it's better for them publicly, and then they can try and settle in a back room.
Wild. Disgusting. If I'd lost my partner, fuck what any terms of service say, by the way, even if it like logically did hold up, if I've gone to your restaurant, we've properly informed you of the health concerns,
Hmm.
and my partner has still died, and you try and say, oh no, we need to do mediation first, you might be joining her. What the fuck are you even trying to pull? That is insanity.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how a judge rules this, and also
Surely
how
it's like 3 seconds of, you guys really need to fuck your ideas up.
the tough thing is, like, a judge unfortunately has to be impartial and go off.
True.
Like,
I
and
don't
like,
think legally it holds up though.
yeah, this is the thing. It's like if his lawyer can prove that it's not legally standing, because it could be a case of like, it depends how it's, if it's
That's
the husband suing, or if it's like on behalf of the deceased wife is.
But also, it's that there will be an implied in relation to this product or this service if you try and sue
also,
us.
so this is
That's inherently implied.
The free trials from like 2 years ago, so you've also got to look at, like, all his lawyer needs to look in, has there been a change to the terms of services since then that he would have had to re-accept? If so, then his terms of service is void. Also, is the like, when you cancelled, what is the like, when does it become void, or is it permanent?
Yeah, I signed up for the trial 10 years ago, and if Disney break GDPR and hold on to my thing, I still have to go through mediation.
I think the big thing will be if there's been at any point there's been an update, and obviously he wouldn't have accepted that update, then it's no longer valid.
I think off the public backlash, Disney will
have to
remove that.
You would like to think they would back down and remove that, but this is Disney.
Absolutely. I don't think they'll remove the clause in their term of service, just to be clear. I think they'll just back down in this court case and not try and enforce it.
Depends.
And then I do genuinely believe sad news, because it does suck. Borderland has bombed.
Yeah.
Incredibly hard.
It's earned like what, 3 to 5% of how much it costs to be made?
I believe its current box office globally is about 8.2 million of the 110 it costs to make, not including all of the money they've spent on marketing.
Yeah. It's like, obviously we mentioned last week when it had just come out and the critic reviews were like a 3%, or whatever it was. Yeah. I then saw TikToks, it was like people being like, me on my way to go watch Borderlands, and then it's like a clip of them after, and they're like, no. They're just
I know a lot of
the
people
fans,
who just left.
the fans, like, things I've seen from them after the film, that they just look defeated, that was like not a good film, or not a good representation of the game, or whatever, and it's just like, you've just ruined kind of what we were excited
the
for.
critic score is now at 10% on Rotten Tomato, and the audience score is at 52%.
It's more generous than I would expect, but
I've seen a lot of people claiming that it's worse than Madam Web, which I really struggle to believe. But I also know that I was more nitpicky about things that didn't make any sense, like the fucking CPR and the really bad ADR, than the average person would be. So maybe they think Madam Web was better than I think it was.
Well, you've also got to think, like, I know we're fans of the Borderlands franchise, but like, you've also got to think fans that would be as big of a fan you are about Spider-Man and all that universe, them seeing Borderlands get treated that way, obviously they're going to be like, this is atrocious.
Yeah. Absolutely insanely bad. Terrible news. Just as we thought we were on the upswing for video games getting good adaptations, it's just been burnt to the fucking ground.
It's fine. Last of Us will come along and remind everyone what's great.
Yeah. The good news is Fallout, Last of Us, and things like that are coming. They will remind us it can be done well. Maybe they're just not meant to be films. Maybe that's the thing.
Also, Amazon, maybe pay attention to this and don't mess up your Warhammer 40k project.
On God. But that is it from us this week over here at Cutscene Convos. We'll be back next week with more goody goodness. We've got some previews for Rings of Power Season 2.
Yes, very exciting.
More character profiles, more gaming news, more good stuff. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.
See you next week.